Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. We're going to talk about when to buy and sell Bitcoin based on the Fear and Greed Index. Now, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index has finally tipped over into greed yesterday for the first time in 2022. So is it time to sell? Because when people are greedy, that's when you want to sell. And the answer is not yet, because right now it is greed, but it was extreme fear last month, and last week it was still fear. I still think Do Kwon's going to buy more. Rumor has it that he actually has bought 1.46 billion out of the 10 billion that he actually wants to buy. So he's going to continue on buying. We're retracing a little bit right now, but 56 is barely in greed. So that's not enough for you to actually sell right now. If you look at the graph, if you're really looking at the graph, yes, like the last few months, right now around like 30s, 40s would have been a decent time to sell. But the thing is, on the big overall picture, you really kind of want to sell when Bitcoin hits maybe around 80 or so, somewhere between 70 and 80, because that generally sets us up for a catastrophic drop. As you can see, in early November, we hit 75, and then a couple of days later, we had catastrophic drop. And if you actually match that with Bitcoin price, you can see that in early November, we actually peaked at around 69,000 around the same time. So basically, as we peaked, this Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index actually hit around 84 or so, which is pretty much a really big high number. And after that, we dropped very shortly. And we actually stayed up here through late October and early November, just like this, essentially, because people were really greedy and they didn't really see this oncoming drop. So as the last people are FOMOing in, the price really started to tank down. Not really sure what happened here in August. I guess like you could have actually bought, we did peak here a little bit in August, around 50,000, and some people sold there. But the thing is, if you actually sold back in August, you had a chance to buy in. So once the greed index gets below 30, that's actually when you should buy in. When it's below 30, you should buy. When it's actually above, 70, you should definitely sell. And you can actually look at it earlier as well here. So here on May 9th, it got to 73, and on April 19th, it also got to 78. If you actually look at here, basically in early May, we basically got to, in early May, we essentially got to 56, and then in late April, we actually, the first peak at 63. So the first peak at 63 on April 12th was basically the same, just like a little bit before, and we were still above 70 right now. Like when we actually started really getting above 70 in terms of the Fear and Greed Index. So above 70, sell. Below 30, buy is kind of what we're actually seeing here. And I think that's a pretty good pattern, and you would actually make money. So right now at 56, it's not quite time to sell yet. Although I wouldn't blame you if you did, because right now, whenever we got to 40s and 50s, we did dump back down. But right now we have Do Kwon buys, and I don't think people are ready to cash out just yet. If you actually look at the max, they didn't track 2017, but back in 2019, we had an index of 95. And if you actually look in June of 2019, we did actually go up to 13,000 before we dumped back down for the next year and a half. So let's actually look at 2019. You can see 2019, if you actually see 2019, and we'll go back here. If we actually look at 2019 back in June of 2019, around here, you did see a bit of a top. And we did actually go to 13,000 before we dump back down to roughly around, 5,000, and then flash crash to around 3,000. So the Fear and Greed Index has actually been pretty reliable throughout history as an indicator of when to buy and when to sell. So once again, above 70 is a sell signal, below 30 is a buy signal. Right now at 56, I would still hold on, even though we might have a dip down to 45, 44, maybe even 40. I do think that buy will come back up. And if you just wait for the Fear or Greed Index to get above 70 or 75, I think you'll have greater profits. So right now, you could take for a little bit of profit, and you could actually buy in, I think, slightly lower. But at the same time, according to the overall Fear Greed Index, it's still time to hold. Now, it might be changing a little bit because Do Kwon is basically pumping it by himself at this point. So this may not apply right now. But I think like if you just hold until it gets to 75 or 80 and then you sell, I think you'll be in good hands. Once again, above 70, 75, sell, below 30, definite buy. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.